He was 7 years old when a woman in his mother's salon stopped her work, looked at him with an unnerving stare, and wrote a prophecy on a piece of paper. "You are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people." Young Denzel Washington couldn't understand it. He was just a kid from Mount Vernon, New York, running wild in the streets, getting into fights, and heading down a path that led nowhere good. His friends from that time, the ones who didn't change their ways, ended up in prison. Denzel was right there with them, one wrong turn away from a life sentence. That prophecy seemed like a joke, a cruel fantasy, but it planted a seed, a question. Could he really be something more? Denzel's world was split in two. His father was a preacher, a man of God who spent his life in the church. His mother ran a beauty salon, a place buzzing with life, stories, and dreams. He lived between these two worlds, the strict, quiet world of faith and the loud, vibrant world of the streets. But as a teenager, he felt the pull of the streets more strongly. He was getting into trouble. His grades were slipping, and his parents' marriage was falling apart. When they divorced, his world shattered. His mother, seeing the dangerous path he was on, made a hard decision. She sent him away to a private boarding school. It felt like a punishment. He was ripped away from his friends, from everything he knew. He was angry, lost, and alone. That anger simmered inside him for years. He went to college to study journalism, but his heart wasn't in it. He floated through his classes, his passion non-existent. He had a 1.7 GPA. He was on the verge of dropping out, a directionless young man with no future in sight. He took a summer job as a creative arts director at a kids' camp. One night, the camp put on a talent show. Denzel got on stage with the kids, just messing around, doing a little skit. And something happened. The audience laughed. They clapped. For the first time, he felt a spark, a connection. A friend saw him on that stage and said, "Man, have you ever thought about acting?" The question hit him like lightning. Acting. It wasn't just a job. It was a calling he never knew he had. Suddenly, that old prophecy from the beauty salon didn't seem so crazy. You will speak to millions. He returned to college with a new purpose. He switched his major to drama. He devoured plays, studied the greats, and poured all his pent-up anger and confusion into his craft. He found his voice not in reporting facts, but in living truths on a stage. He learned to channel his own experiences, the pain of his parents' divorce, the anger of being sent away, the feeling of being an outsider, into powerful performances. Acting wasn't about pretending to be someone else. For Denzel, it was about revealing the deepest parts of himself. He moved to New York City to chase the dream. But the city was tough. He faced rejection after rejection. He worked odd jobs, swept floors in a theater, and struggled to make ends meet. Doubt crept in. Was he good enough? Had he made a huge mistake? There were moments he wanted to quit, to go back to a normal, safe life. But then he'd remember that fire he felt on the camp stage. He'd remember the woman's prophecy. He had a promise to keep, not just to her, but to himself. He refused to be the man who almost made it. He kept pushing, kept auditioning, kept honing his craft in the shadows. His big break came with the TV show, SD. Elsewhere, it gave him stability and visibility, but it was on the big screen where he truly exploded. In the film Glory, he played Private Tripp, a bitter, defiant soldier. Denzel didn't just play the part. He became him. He poured all the righteous anger he had ever felt into that character. The performance was raw, electric, and unforgettable. It earned him his first Academy Award. The world finally saw what he knew all along. He wasn't just an actor. He was a force of nature. That boy from the streets of Mount Vernon was now speaking to millions. But success brought new challenges. The pressure mounted. How do you stay grounded when the world calls you a star? Denzel found his anchor in the two things that had always been there: his faith and his family. He remembered his father's teachings about humility and service. He remembered his mother's sacrifice to give him a better life. He didn't let Hollywood change who he was. He became known for his intense preparation, his discipline, and his respect for the work. He chose roles that challenged him, characters who were flawed, complex, and human. He played Malcolm X, the wrongly convicted boxer Rubin Hurricane Carter, the corrupt cop Alonzo Harris in Training Day. He wasn't afraid to explore the darkness, because he had seen it in his own life. Each role was a deep dive into the human soul. What drives a man to greatness? What pushes him to his breaking point? These weren't just movie characters to him. They were questions about life, morality, and purpose, and his performances provided the answers. He won his second Oscar for Training Day, becoming one of the most respected actors of his generation. The power in his performances comes from a place of deep truth. He knows what it's like to be on the edge, to feel lost, to fight for a second chance. He never forgot the boy who was one step away from a different life. He honors that boy by telling stories of struggle, redemption, and the unbreakable human spirit. Denzel Washington's story isn't about an easy road to fame. It's a story about a promise. A prophecy made to a restless kid in a salon that became a guiding star. It's a story of a mother's love, a mentor's simple question, and a relentless drive to turn anger into art. He could have been a statistic. He could have been another forgotten name. Instead, he chose to listen to that quiet voice inside, the one that told him he was meant for more. He traveled the world. He spoke to millions, not just with his voice, but with his soul. So, what about you? We all have those moments, those crossroads where one decision can change everything. You just watched Denzel's. Now, click here to see the story of another icon who faced a life-changing choice and came out a legend on the other side. You won't believe how close they came to giving up.